Hey, here's Eddie telling you about the budget and how I think it's wrong and how to put it right. First of all, there are two big lies. One, that raising the threshold helps the poor the most. This is a lie, because if you're paying £1,000, if you raise the threshold for somebody by £1,000 and you're on 50% tax, you make an extra £500, or you pay £500 less in tax. If you're on the 20p rate, which is the low paid, you get £200 tax reduction. But if you're really poor like me, who doesn't earn anything like enough, I can earn another 2,000 before I would have to pay tax anyway. It doesn't help me at all, because if you don't pay tax, they can raise the threshold up to 100 million and you'll still get nothing back. The higher the threshold of tax allowances, the more the rich benefit. Now, the reason taxes are high are expenses, and the first thing they need to do is ban expenses altogether. In other words, everything you get is income, gross income, which is all taxable. Now, this sounds terrible, but this is corrected by reducing the tax. If all these allowances were scrapped, they would be able to lower the tax to 10% and 30% and still take in more money. This would also give companies and people an incentive to keep their expenses down. At the moment, there is no incentives. They claim what they like. Even the honest claimers have no incentive to get a job done for the least possible money, the best job for the least possible money. So scrap all expenses. Now, to compensate for this, companies would increase wages and employers would increase wages. The reason being, the only allowances a company should get for their tax are the cost of the goods that they buy in and the cost of manufacturing whatever they manufacture, which is the wages and maintenance of equipment. Most companies' maintenance of the equipment is wages as well anyway, spare parts and things like that. This would mean the companies would have an incentive to keep their expenses down, not waste money, because every pound they save, they will pay less corporation tax. At the moment, if it's on expenses, and by doing this, there's absolutely no way they can fiddle it. And as far I've thought this through, and as far as I can tell, the only people that will really suffer are the accountants and the lawyers, and we all know what we think of them, don't we? Somebody once said you should shoot all the lawyers. Because companies are not going to pay out millions to accountants to do their books if they can't fiddle the tax, because that's why they pay them the money. They'll only pay a company £1 million if they can save them £2 million. They're not stupid. So there's that incentive. There's also the incentive for the companies to pay their employees more, and this will mean that the employees will be paying more tax, but because they're earning more, they will spend more, they'll have more to spend, so that will up the growth rate. What this budget does, by putting up the lower rate, they help the rich. By lowering the higher rate, they help the rich, and they do nothing whatsoever for the working man. And it's the working man that actually produces all these goods. These people that that get these £1 million bonuses, they don't earn the money. It's the people below them that earn the money. True, they pick these people to do these jobs, but I still think if all the top people were sacked and replaced by the lower ranks and everybody was moved up a rank, it wouldn't make any difference to the company. They'd still go on the same way. There'd be bonuses would be taxed as if they were gross earnings. I'm enjoying my Kit Kat and coffee while I'm doing this. I'm quite prepared to answer any questions anybody would like to put on any of the things that you may find won't work, and I'll explain them as to why they will work, because otherwise I'd be here all day explaining things. But because tax fiddling will be a thing of the past, and I have experienced this, because if you're an employee driving to work, I used to drive to work 15 miles there and back, 30 miles a day, 15 miles there and back when I was working for somebody. I couldn't claim any of that. When I started my own, working on my own, self-employed with my own TV rental business, I was able to claim the car as expensive, quite legally. I didn't think it was right, but I had to do it, otherwise I wouldn't be able to compete. So all these ideas of mine put the incentive on people to keep their costs down and to keep their wages higher, and people that are not paying tax at all now, there's only one reason why they're not paying tax, that's honest people, is because they're not being paid enough. And there is no way to fiddle it if you count everything as earnings. Companies wouldn't waste money on expensive nights out and whatnot unless they thought it would earn them business. At the moment, they can take people out to lunch and that and charge it up to expensive, and the country loses out. The other thing is that because nobody's filling taxes, because there'd be no expenses, you couldn't fill expenses, everybody's wages would have to be increased to make up for that, but that would be taxable. MPs and things like that, no, they wouldn't be allowed any expenses. In fact, I might even think about making MPs' expenses means tested. And I think things like child allowance should be means tested as well. They made a start by stopping the high paid from getting it, but I think that after 2 kids it should stop anyway, because we don't want any more kids in the world, because we're only putting them into unemployment. So I would like to hear what you think about this. This is going out on all my blogs. It'll go out on Facebook, Twitter, etc. And YouTube. So I would like people to think about what I've said, see if you can pick holes in it, and comment it to me and on this website, and I will do my best to explain them, because they're all explainable. I'll answer any of your questions. Being the Chancellor of the Exchequer is not as difficult as people think. If you are a woman at home that has to run the household budget, that is no different to doing the budget for the country. And you know that if you put money on credit card, it costs you a lot of interest, so you avoid borrowing as much as you can. And the only difference between the country and the home budget is the number of zeros. So you cross off all the zeros, and instead of calling it 191 billion, Your wage, say 150,000 instead of 150 billion. And the figures are exactly the same whether it's a company, a country, or a household. The budget is the thing. Thank you for watching this and listening to it, and I would love to hear what you have to say about it. Now, I've had plenty of experience in business, so I was better off working for myself, avoiding paying tax, not cheating, and it was quite easy to do. In fact, if I earned £500 over the limit, all I had to do was put it in the pension fund. It's so easy to fiddle these things, and I don't think they're right. But if they're there, I don't blame the people for doing it, because there's no incentive not to. You want to put the incentive the other way. Well, thank you very much for listening to me, and I wish you... Oh, by the way, I'm one of those really ones that get nothing out. All I've got is another 50p a day in cigarette tax to pay. And that's going to hit the elderly, because most sensible smokers are the ones that have been addicted for donkey's years. And I've even been told by my doctor that to stop smoking may be more harmful than to carry on. I'm 74 years old this year, and I've been smoking over 60 years, so work that one out. So I'll say goodbye, mull this over, think about it, think up some questions, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you.